Hi everybody, thank you very much for helping us out during our wedding. First of all, I'd like to apologize for only giving everybody an hour to do it. We were screwed by the Cook County Forest Preserve, and that's that. But I do appreciate you guys still sticking through and helping us do this. So what we have right here is a fully ready to go bar, which we're gonna all help to make together. And what we have so far are 9 55-gallon whiskey casks that have been refurbished. We have one in the center that has a hole in it for central ice. We'll talk a little bit more about it. We also have a back bar that's held up by 2 whiskey casks. So let's dive in. The first thing that we need to talk about is the floor that was requested by our bartenders. We have a simple 4x8 plywood board, and it is attached with 3 hinges that are, we made a little bit of a semicircle here so that it could help everyone understand how the casks are supposed to be placed. It helps everything maintain symmetry. We have 1 cask in the middle and 4 casks on each side. This is your bar, this is our bar top. 2 of the casks have chains on them, which are will be attached to speed rails, which are gonna come in the van with everybody. Under this, we have 2 5-gallon buckets. These are just here for show. They're gonna be new, clean, sanitized ones. But this is gonna be filled with cooling ice, not serving ice, cooling ice. And we're gonna have champagne in one, or Prosecco, and we're gonna have white wine in another. We have a few different types, but we'll let the bartenders play however they want to do it. We also have the exact same thing here as we do on the other side. So once again, we have a speed rail. Whatever's necessary, whatever's drinking most of, will be on the speed rail, and that'll develop. But also another 2 5-gallon buckets that are gonna have Prosecco in one and white wine in the other. We have central ice bin. This is one that has no lid on it. We're gonna have this clean, sanitized 70-quart bucket, and then this is going to be filled with serving ice. There's a difference between cooling ice and serving ice. So this is the center spot for all the bartenders to be able to simply scoop ice and pour a drink. On the back bar, 2 casks here, which are going to be covered by our linen, black linen. 2 whiskey casks. And if you can see here, we just have a simple, another plywood board, nice and strong, 3 feet by 8 feet, and it's gonna go directly in the center of the tent. Now, the tent might get you a little like, well, we can't build that. Well, that's very understandable. The groomsmen, that is their only task when we arrive at 1 p.m., exactly the same time that you guys have time to set this up. Again, we have an hour, so we're gonna divide and conquer. 20 feet by 10 feet. We have 8 groomsmen and there are 8 legs, so wonderful. Even if the bartenders or the staff to help set up are going to be able to set this all up, we can still pick this up, bring it right on over, and you guys are gonna be set. We're gonna be staked in, and you guys are gonna be dry if there's any rain. That is the biggest concern. I just wanted to make sure that birds do not poop inside of our serving ice. And then we have our back bar with our jockey box, which we're going to talk about a little bit more, and we'll get back to you then. So thank you. If we want to take a deeper look into the back, what are our components? We have 4 lines. These lead to couplers, okay? As you can see, each one goes to a coupler. And from each one of the couplers goes to one part of you call it a manifold or a distributor. That distributor, all these 4 go here. The distributor goes to a regulator, which helps control the flow of carbon dioxide that is flowing into the casks and beer is flowing out. So carbon dioxide in, beer out, and through the coils that are covered in ice, ice cold beer comes out. We are going to keep the level of CO2 between 15 and 20 psi. As you can see here, we can turn it way up like this to 20, and we'll watch it flow out. If no beer is flowing, there might not be any CO2, which means that we might have one of these closed. They all need to be open. This is the open position. That is a closed position. We'll open that back up. All these kegs are going to be under and inside of the 55-gallon Tupperware container. They're going to be nice and cool before they even go through the ice cold. If you have any problems at all, someone will know how to help, and we are going to make sure you can reference the video again. So, guys, thanks again. I do appreciate it, and I know this is a big job, so, I mean, lots of props to everybody. So, once again, thank you again. Have a good one. So, welcome back, guys. Thanks again. I wanted to show you the back bar. So what we have is a little bit of a jumbled up thing. As you can see all the different types of containers, but I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going in what. The main event essentially is the fact that we have serving ice and cooling ice, like we talked about before. Cooling ice is going to go in this 55-gallon Tupperware bin. This is going to be filled almost, I don't know, 50 to 75% of the way up. It's going to help keep the kegs cold, but it's not the whole, it doesn't really help the kegs that far along. The jockey box, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is going to make sure that the ice is really, or the beer is really, really cold. So we'll explain that in a little bit. This is to be filled 50 to 75% of the way up immediately. From there, we have this igloo container in green, this igloo container in blue, and these are for backup serving ice as well. This will be cleaned and sanitized and will only contain ice. On the other side here, we have a very large white igloo, I think, container that is also going to be filled with only serving ice. So that this can be refilled for our center ice bin if it's working, or if something else needs to be made, if we're not, you know, play it by ear essentially. So just so you know, these kegs here, there's going to be about 3 or 4 other kegs as well, but they're all going to be in this size, and they're all going to be able to fit under here, okay, into this ice bin. Now, having said that, these are going to be empty, full of serving ice. And then we have another keg of Pabst. The only half barrel that we have, the big, larger format kegs, are going to be right in here as well, full of cooling ice. Thank you. So, if we want to take a quick peek, we'll explain the draft system in a little bit, so we'll get back to you then. Hey guys, so we're going to talk about the jockey box. There are 4 taps, how a jockey box works, if you want to take a peek. You can see here, if you want to zoom in here, there's a little bit of a lock on it. Open the lock, open it up. If you look inside, what you can see is 4 inlets and 4 outlets, and there are coils. This helps with to expand the surface area and make sure that as the beer flows through, it's getting touched by a lot cooler ice. And this is the real thing that's going to help keep the ice cold. You could even have the kegs just not even cooling down and have this full of ice, and the beer will come out cold, ice cold. The only thing that is most important is that when you first start this whole process is to make sure that the beer is pouring through the lines before you add ice. If you do not do that, the water inside of the lines is going to freeze, and then you're up Schitt's Creek. You have to basically take all the ice, you have to throw it out, you have to heat up the lines, pour it back out, and then pouring more beer and then adding more ice. So it's a very difficult process. Basically, let's get off of that. Don't add ice until you add beer.